Hello everybody, Douglas Waltz, Old Man Comic Book Reviews. We have a gigantic stack and a special thing that we'll do at the end, so that'll be fun. First up, we got a new #1, Miles Morales Spider-Man. This book is odd in that it's got the cover, and it's a thicker stock, and the first couple of pages in the gatefold are also thicker, so it's weird. Other than that, we have let's get to our usual suspects here. See who's responsible, assuming I can find it, of course. Marvel is notoriously bad for putting it on the front page where it belongs. Here we are. Cody Ziglar, writer. Federico Vincentini is the artist. And it's Miles Morales. He's Spider-Man. He fights Scorpion right off the bat. He's late for school again. He fights some other guy, I don't know. And there's some girl who he saved at the beginning who has evil plans for Miles Morales. And it looks like he's going to fight Scorpion again. So apparently that's his villain. I don't know. I don't read that. Alright, Captain America Sentinel of Liberty #7. Which should, hopefully, give me writers Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly. Artist is Carmen Carnero. When last we left Steve Rogers, he got shot by Bucky, and Bucky's part of this new group of people. The interesting part is Namor shows up with Captain America's shield. Apparently he had to help him get it. And these guys should write Namor. Their Namor is perfect. He is just dead on. For those of you who don't know, Namor and Cap were part of the group from World War II called the Invaders. Sharon Carter shows up and there's some smooching. There's more than smooching later. She even makes a terrible joke when she sees him just his pants, saying, "Well, good morning, America." So that was pretty funny. This is a pretty good book. We get everybody to show up so they can find out the bad guys and go after them, but then it ends on just an odd note. So we'll see how that goes. Good book. Ooh, another #1. Did I mention we're going to have a couple #1s? Yes, we are. First issue of Gargoyles. The lovely Martha Waltz picked this out because it was her favorite Disney show. Greg Weisman is the writer. George Cambadais is the illustrator. I do actually like the artwork. This is an introductory issue. You get, the detective and Goliath and Brooklyn and Lexington and Hudson and Broadway. You get everybody. And there's ones I don't remember from the show in here, like a cyborg and a robot. And apparently we also have a promise in the near future of a Darkwing Duck comic book. So if you liked either of those shows, this is a really good introduction issue. Speaking of introduction, how about the last issue of something? The Blue Flame. This was a really good book. Christopher Cantwell is the writer. Adam Gorham is the artist. The Blue Flame said, "I need to call a witness to save the planet Earth from aliens who decide whether or not we're worthy or not." I get the feeling that they just had to finish the comic book. There was a couple issues where it was running late, but it has a happy ending, so it was alright. I think they kind of rushed it. Sonic the Hedgehog #55. 55. Story by Evan Stanley. Adam Bryce Thomas is our artist. Apparently, starting December 15th, we get a new show called Sonic Prime. So we'll see how that goes. Sonic was fighting Kit and Surge. They're both Phoenix. And Metal Sonic showed up, and Dr. Robotnik showed up. Robotnik wants his stuff from the Phoenix. And so they agreed to team up for a hot minute. I wouldn't trust Robotnik any farther than I could throw him. Next issue is supposed to be a big giant fight issue. So, as always, Sonic the Hedgehog is a great comic book. New Mutants #32. New Mutants #32 is going to be a secret. Here it is. Charlie Jane Anders is the writer. Alberto Albuquerque with Rose Stein and Ted Brandt are the artists. Rose Stein and Ted Brand are doing these little in the comic There's a sub-comic where they look like, sure, now that I want to find one, looks like Peanuts. So, we have characters saving other characters, and I don't know who any of these people are. Rain's in it, Wolfsbane. Martha is the living brain, and they put her in a body. I like the artwork. No one's trying to mimic Bill Sienkiewicz in this. I still don't, I don't know. I'll get used to the new characters eventually. But I always buy New Mutants, so it was alright. I liked it. Another first issue. I told you we had a bunch. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. #1. Don't get too excited. I heard it's a limited series. Our writer is Jordan Ifieco. Penciler is Alba Glees. Inker is Jose Marzan Jr. So Luna's parents figured out that she is a superhero named Moon Girl. They're unhappy about this. So now she is part of a roller derby squad, the Support Alliance Derby for Sensationally Abled Kids. It spells sad sacks. And they all have inhuman powers. Some aren't great. One, she can change the color of her dreadlocks. One can turn into a bird boy. So, but we get Moon Girl, we get Devil Dinosaur, we get roller derby. There's a secret person who's pretending to be an Inhuman who is not an Inhuman. You'll figure that out when you watch it. She has these cool little robots she uses called Moonbugs because they're microscopic object-oriented nanobots. And they look like a little bug about this big that fit on the end of your finger. She uses them to go after the zombie roller derby people and untie their shoelaces so they all trip over their skates. Devil looks good. They leave us with a cliffhanger. I'll always buy Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. It's a good book. Monkey Prince #9. We're going to have a complaint in this issue, so just hold on to your hat. So there's arcs with Monkey Prince, and now he is in Metropolis, and we find out that we think that his mother could quite possibly be not doing well. I'm trying to find who did it. There we go. Last page, of course. We have Gene Luen Yang is the writer. Bernard Chang is our artist. Recently just watched Stargirl. Ultra Humanites in this, so that was interesting. The one bad guy demon, it was interesting because he's going to eat the Bizarro clones to get their power. So he has teeth made of blue kryptonite. So I thought that was neat. Now for my complaint. No Superman. We get Supergirl. Supergirl is an older character. She's been around for quite some time. You get really used to Supergirl. This is the worst looking Supergirl I have ever seen. What's up with this costume? Who drew her? I'm like, I don't get what this is. Is there... And I haven't been reading Supergirl, so this could be the norm for all I know. I do like when she beats up Monkey Prince and he thinks that her hair smells nice. That was kind of cute. But her whole costume is just... ick. So, whatever. I'm here for the monkey. Supergirl's sort of an afterthought. Godzilla #3, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King. Not Bruce Campbell. Writer is Eric Burnham. Artist is Dan Schoing. The Xylians, the guys with the neck braces and the crappy sunglasses. They are trying to wake up their weapon. Their weapon is this guy, King Ghidorah. Big old double panel, pretty. I like the artwork in this. It's really kind of interesting. So it's this Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah, and he hits the control module, which happens a lot. So now we have an uncontrolled King Ghidorah. There's an interesting alternate cover where it looks like it's from the Steven Universe. I thought that was cute. It's a good book. It's definitely a Godzilla book for kids, but I liked it. Must be a kid. Ghost Rider #9. Look at that ugly mug right there. That's the new villain. His name is Exhaust. So, when last we left Johnny Blaze and that girl he's hanging out with, who's a necromancer or whatever, she's trying to make Ghost Rider do her bidding, which never happens well. Benjamin Percy is the writer. Corey Smith is the artist. This is fun. I like the new villain. They do the thing where there are places in the world. What is it? New York, Washington, D.C., Savannah, Georgia, Hell's Backbone in Utah, and Chicago. Because apparently Washington, D.C. was designed around Masonic temples. Savannah, Georgia is a necropolis and the most haunted city in the country. New York is New York. You know, Hell's Backbone in Utah speaks for itself. And Chicago was the livestock capital of the United States. Lots of blood ritual, even if you don't mean to. And it's interesting how they talk about how the United States and the highways are some of the most haunted things because of just the amount of things that go on a road. So I thought that was neat. And apparently next issue concludes the arc of Exhaust versus Ghost Rider, but not the book. I think they learned their lesson to not say to be concluded and make us think that we only get 10 issues and they're going to cancel it. So they're not going to cancel it. Alright, final issue of Do a Power Bomb. Everything done by Daniel Warren Johnson. So, our Sun and Steel got their wish of fighting the final person. It's God. And there's so much fun with the ringside announcer, where he's calling the moves. You know, you always have to go for the moves, and you hear it. Like he says, a huge belly-to-belly suplex by the architect of creation, because it's God. Where's another good one? Hold on. Crucifix bomb by the beginning and the end. I don't think they make an Alpha and Omega joke, but they do manage to give God a nosebleed from hitting him too hard when they do the big cool move. Well, by the way, this is also a big cover there, so I like that. And you don't get you get your wish if you beat him, and even if you don't beat him, you get his respect. His finishing move is the Pillars of Golgotha. This whole book made me giggle because I love wrestling, and this is somebody who you can tell loves wrestling, but all she ever wanted was her mom, so she gives her the memory that she couldn't remember because she was too little, and then the final panel is the best. That's why this guy should just write comic books all the time. Let's come to that one next. Alright, Daredevil number 6. Chip Zdarsky. And who we got here? Where's my artist? Here it is. Rafael de la Torre. When last we left Matt Murdock, he picked up a bunch of people from prison. Gave them the chance to be something better. Some of them want to. One of them is Agony, a symbiote who just wants to eat Doc Sasquatch's tongue because he talks too much. She just wants quiet. And I never found out about the Doc Sasquatch thing, because it's obviously Doc Samson, but then he's Sasquatch. And is that Sasquatch from Alpha Flight? Does it have to do with that one comic book I forgot to buy? I have no idea. But we found out that the Hand has replaced important people. So while Daredevil is trying to convert people, his wife Elektra is trying to murder people that are part of the Hand, like, you know, the President of the United States. And we find out it is him. And so a couple of Elektra's helpers actually managed to stab Iron Man because they have daggers made of Symkarian steel, 1 nanometer thick at its edge, so that blade always gets in with a nanometer to go. This has been very interesting. I like what Zdarsky is doing with this. The art is always as gorgeous. And looks like next issue we got to play with the Punisher, because he's leading the Hand with his new logo so cops can't steal it, which I thought was hilarious. Alright, we got 2 more and then the surprise. Another number 1. Actually, these are both number 1s, believe it or not. New crossover I decided to be interested in. They're bringing back Inferno, but they're integrating it with the Spider Universe. So it's called Dark Web number 1. Zeb Wells, I do believe, is our writer. Assuming I can find... There we go. And artist is Adam Kubert, which Kubert's doing a great job. So it's Madeline Pryor's clone and Ben Reilly, who is the clone of Peter Parker. And they feel like they've been left out. And they want things back the way that they were. So they're going to attack New York City and bring Inferno back to Earth. So it's kind of neat during Christmas time. So you get giant monsters at Rockefeller Center. Spidey's doing his thing. I saw Magic. I saw Cyclops and Marvel Girl, if that's her name. Jean. Let's just call her Jean. I get in less trouble if I just remember that. The new villain, All Hallows Eve, or just Hallows Eve, is in it. We see a brief thing by Gold Goblin, but that goes south. And they try to bring Venom back to old school Venom. Unfortunately, when you do that to Venom, all he wants to do is eat Spider-Man's brain. So now you have an uncontrollable thing. And these are going to spin off into, let's see, in December we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more books. In January we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more books. And then in February, the last 2 books will fill it out. So there you go. I buy some of the books. A lot of them are issue number 1s that aren't continuations. I don't buy some of them, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So it's a good crossover so far. The book you never thought would be a comic book by the lovely people at American Mythology Productions. The classic Santa Claus killer, Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I'm like, well, you know, I know how this ends. And I've watched all of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights. Otherwise, I wouldn't giggle every time somebody says garbage day. So it's written by James Kohoric and S.A. Check. Art by Puis Calzada. And it starts, it's great. There's a woman who's mean to Santa and says, cram it up your cram hole, Santa. Then she is punished by somebody. But because see, Billy's supposed to be dead. And then we find out he's not dead. And then there's his brother, whose name escapes me. I think he's the one that becomes he becomes a famous writer. And it's like, so Billy's just in the asylum. But then there's somebody out there killing people like Billy used to kill in the old thing. And we're getting that, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, I guess, basically. So he'll be back next issue. Apparently he's going to be checking his list twice. And they interview the guys who gave it to us. Scott Schneid and Dennis Whitehead, the originators of the entire franchise, by giving us that very first one. So this was a lot of fun. It made me laugh. So there's all those books. We got one more thing to show you. Before we do it, I'll do the other things. So Sophie, Fiona, you came over. It was Christmas baking time, so my hands are sore. The oven was on today from 10 o'clock until recently. We made chicken enchiladas. We made butter cookies with frosting and sprinkles on them. We made chocolate chip cookies. We made the cookies where you put the little kisses in them. We made homemade bread. So we did all that stuff. So, and Christmas is coming, kids. Comic books are the way to go. So the last thing I got, last week you heard me all excited, Kamen Rider 01. Well, there was one more issue they had to release. So first I got to turn off some lights. Alright. Ooh! So this, I'll get closer to the camera, is Kamen Rider 01. This is the comic book. This is the one they released the week later because, oh, it didn't work. Alright, kids. That jump thing was because I had to go do things to get this to work. I'm going to charge up the cover and I'm going to turn this light off. So give us 2 seconds while we do that. I'll hum some funny music. Dee 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 dee. Oh, that's probably copyrighted. Let's not do that. Alright. I don't think I did more than 30 seconds. So let me make sure it's going to work and then I will show it to you guys. Alright. There it is. Can you see that? How cool is that, right? Alright, so like I said every week, go read a comic book. I'll see you next week.